to the podcast today. I heard that you came to sit down and pray. Welcome to the podcast today. You're gonna learn a lot of good things today. What's up, y'all? Thank you for listening to my little jam. We're in a good mood today. Howdy, howdy. Hope everyone is feeling divine and groovy in their skin today. And if you aren't, love on yourself, okay? Love on yourself. Hold yourself where you can. And give yourself some smooches. Today, it's a hoods up, hoops on kind of day, okay? Hoods up. If you can't see, I am wearing a hoodie, but I can't put it on because of these headphones. But that's okay. My hoops are on, and that's all that matters. So today we are going to be talking about how we create the rules in which we live by. This is a very lovely topic because so often I catch myself in this. I catch myself playing along to rules that only exist in my head. And then I am containing myself and stressing myself out in this little box, and I'm just running around in this little square when if I took a moment to actually sit and be like, oh, I have a whole damn field to myself. You know, I have this entire expansive reality to myself. And I've been playing small because I have set these rules that I have been living by, or I have been living by someone else's rules. So we're going to talk about that today. We are going to talk about how you create the structure of your own reality. And we're going to ask some questions. You know, what is feeding your reality? Are you living life for you or for someone else? And how can you trust in the reality by which you wish to live in? How can we ground and find that divine trust? Before we dive into this, I want you to go over to the YouTube channel. Check out the I Am meditation that just came forward. That is kind of paired with last week's podcast. It's beautiful. I'm really excited about it, and I hope you are too. So embody that I am. And this week's paired video, I think I'm just going to do a shorter, condensed message video of just the things that come forward, and I'm going to put it in a more organized, less talky, chitty, chatty format. And so that will be live. If you want to grab the juicy tidbits of what we talk about here today, that video will be live for you on the YouTube. Again, this is on Spotify and YouTube, so choose your platform. And then too, if you want your own personal meditation, homie, I'm right here. I can do this for you. $30 to receive a recorded meditation by me, and it's fully channeled. I have access to a lot of healing modalities in my repertoire. I do light language, we do Reiki, we do quantum healing, we do somatic movement, we do, I channel spirits for you. It really, anything could happen, y'all. Anything could happen. It's basically what spirit wants to come through will come through for you. And these meditations can be anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. It's really what spirit wants for you at this time. And if you have a preference, you're like, hey, I just want a start today meditation, 15 minutes in the morning. Dope. I got you. Or you're like, I want to quantum heal. Let's do this. I got you. So go check that out. It's on my website. I also have some other services. Go check them out. And if you're interested in a group meditation situation, you can chat and contact me through my website. Let's see what other notes I had. What does that say? I wrote these so small. Oh, guys, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, if you have a topic that you really enjoy talking about or that you want to share with the world, come on over to the ETM podcast and let's collab. I would love to start having some more guests on here and there. And yeah, so reach out to me. Instagram, probably the easiest way to do that, or my website. And let's get into it. So this week, the affirmation is, my peace is my creation. Let's sit with that. My peace is my creation. Let's take a few deep breaths on that, actually. Let's kind of ground the energy. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. Feeling your body wherever you are. Feeling the current environment in which you stand in. Coming into your heart space, into your solar plexus power of the I am. My peace is my creation. And this really stems from the best creations come from a peaceful place. They really do come from a restful state and a collected kind of space. Because if we're constantly running around, if we are constantly in fear or, running around with anxiety and doubt and all of these, lower or denser vibrations, then it's going to be a lot harder to create from that state. And how can you bring yourself into this nice, peaceful, restful, relaxed state and create from there? And the end product, whatever it may be, it's going to be different when you create from a place of peace rather than pressure. So I've been working with that this week. And the self-care this week, I am trying my best to do self-touch every day, whether that's like dropping into a little self-pleasure or dropping into just really nurturing my body through touch, staring in the mirror, putting oil on my body and rubbing it, and just getting used to my roles, getting used to how my body is growing into this beautiful shape. And bringing that into a little bit of like self-acceptance. It's always kind of been, I've tried to do this in the past, but I've never actually like devoted. I've tried to, but it's the like first thing that falls off is like body touch for me. Oh my God. Okay, sorry to get distracted, but my kitty cat is across from me right now. And she's not laying flat. She is just like half on this like pillow and half on the seat and just like laying. Oh my God, that was so cute. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I just really want to dive into self-touch and see what a consistent practice can do for my pleasure, my intimacy, my self-love, and my self-acceptance. So that's what we're working with today. And of course, the symbol card that came through today. This is the grounding symbol card. And I love this card so much. And it really does make a lot of sense with what we're talking today, because you have to ground within yourself to create your own reality, to create, grounding into self, and finding self will help you find what reality it is that you want to live in. And so this symbol really, I meditated with it before this podcast, and It comes in and it brings down all of the flightiness, all of the clouds that you have just like thousands of feet above you energetically, and it really anchors on them and pulls them down and brings them to a place in the body where that energy can ground. So a lot of times when we are not grounded, our energy is kind of floating up here. We are all in our head. We have a busy mind. We have anxiety. We are daydreaming. And all of that energy is not being either cleared out through our feet and taken to the earth, or it's like disconnected from the place in which it lives inside of us. And so we can bring that down, and this symbol does just that. It brings that energy down and either discards of it or places it where it needs to be, and it feels so good. Like I don't even have to, I can just sit there and breathe and ask this symbol to merge with the dimension of my being, and I just feel it immediately. So love this symbol. The crystal that I chose this week for the symbol is black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is a protective stone. It's a grounding stone. And today when I used it, it almost felt like a broom, like a broom that was going through and clearing and collecting all of the density that was getting in the way of me grounding. It, too, the symbol, it was so interesting to feel them work together. The symbol was aligning and grounding my chakras, while the tourmaline was coming in behind that and like clearing them of what no longer serves and what's keeping them from a grounded state. And so it was really beautiful to witness and see. And I also got, I don't have kyanite. However, when I asked what the best crystals were for this symbol, kyanite also came through. So if you have kyanite, go ahead and play with that. I had tourmaline. Alrighty. Whew, I'm gonna take a sippy sip. So, I think usually we do like personal stories and then we get into the meat and the bones. However, today I think we're just gonna merge the two and kind of just go at it. So I had this come through in a meditation. We create the rules we live by, which I've been told that. However, my own awakening within it came through this meditation, and you are the one that creates the structure of the reality you live by. Only you can uncreate and create the rules that govern how you live. And what I mean by that is the structure of your day to day, or of, what society deems as prevalent versus how we can really show up and play. And so we create our reality. It's easy to hear that, but how do we actually do that? We do it by stepping into our own power and holding the knowing that anything we want to do is possible, because we can dream it. It is existing and it is possible. And so it's often easy to play small. And what's coming forward is just kind of like jobs a lot of the times. Society will be like, oh, well, you can't do that. Your parents will be like, that makes no sense. You're never going to make it by doing that. And then you start to believe, okay, I need a job that is steady and consistent. I need benefits. I need, paid time off. I need the 401k. I need all of these things in order to live a happy life. This is what my job has to look like. And I would like to say, fuck no, that's not accurate. That's not true. There are so many people living by the rules that they create, and out of that very American and human structure. And I found myself kind of working in that and almost taking a job because of what my parents told me it needed to look like. And it's so easy to do this, right? Like, oftentimes our beliefs are rarely ever our own, and it's always good to just go to inquiry, go to gentle inquiry. If you have a belief around something, you better check and see where that comes from. You better find out if that's actually you, and living by the way in which your reality can work, or is that feeding someone else's reality? Because if you're feeding someone else's reality, you are putting your power outside of yourself. And let's dissolve this. Get really real with yourself. Take a pen to paper and ask yourself, what job, what work, financial situation would best serve you? And once you get really clear about that, then you can ask, okay, what are the first steps I need to take in order to get here? And as you start feeding that reality and that expansion, that's how you shift into the timeline where it exists. Because as these new opportunities arise for you, if you were to say, no, that's not possible, so I'm just going to continue feeding what I've been told, then that gives no room for expansion. You're staying in the same kind of circle, and you're only going to grow in that circle. And so if you can take the first step and jump out of it, and then start to feed the narrative that you have created where this is possible. I see people every single day working and having a lovely work-life balance and working for themselves, having the flexibility to take care of themselves. What does that look like for me? And then start to play into that. And as you play into that, you're then feeding that timeline. You're feeding that expansion in self. And that aligns you then to that reality in which exists. And more things can come on and come into that timeline. And it's really important to just question everything. Question every single belief you have, and that is how you can get really real. I did about 2 years on and off of The Work by Byron Katie. And I worked with a facilitator on this. And she was like one of my first kind of mentors and therapists that really made like a huge difference. I called her a therapist one time and she said, "Don't call me that. I'm not a therapist." But to me, it was like therapy. But this work by Byron Katie really dove in, and every thought that I brought forward that week, because you look at your thoughts, you see if is this thought really true? And can you know it's true? Who are you when you're believing the thought? Who are you when you're not believing the thought? And then you do like turnarounds and just look at the thought from different angles. And this like blew my mind. I was running so many thought patterns from my mom. Basically a lot from my mom. It's no surprise when she comes up in my healing. But God love her. And two, running these beliefs or patterns that I also just picked up from experiences that I had when I was really young, and we were able to go back and just see the origin point of where this began. And by doing that, then the illusion fades, the veil drops, and you're able to see, oh my God, that's why I've been running this story this entire time. And then that takes the power away from the story, and you can rewire, remap how you actually want to live. And that work was powerful. Like, that actually jump sparked and threw me into what I would call my first kind of awakening. It was really, really powerful stuff. And it's important to ask, when you are trying to create your reality, what is currently feeding your reality? Are these fears? Again, are these your thoughts? Is this how you want to live? Or is this a partner, a parent, a friend, the societal structures coming in and telling you how to live? You ultimately decide every time. And so it's important to just see what's feeding your reality. Did you pick it up from rom-coms when you were younger? You know, a lot of the way we think love is supposed to look like comes from Hollywood, guys. Or it comes from the relationships we see growing up. And it doesn't have to be that way. You get to determine the love in which you receive. You get to determine the love in which would make you happy. The partner that would thrill you. And of course, there's fate, there's destiny, there's karmic relationships that you may have to sit with. However, you can also like move through that and get out of it right quick. You know, like you don't have to stay in anything. You're the only one that is creating that stagnancy, and that is waiting around thinking something better is going to come along. But you have to be the change that sparks the expansion. And watch yourself, you know. It's not to be hard on yourself. It's to show compassion when you do see a way in which you've been living by. You get to hold yourself through that. And you get to ground then and decide how it is you really want to live and take the steps to do that. You know, I right now had another just kind of epiphany with this I am the opportunity, which listen to last week's podcast, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And society makes you think like, I'm going to have to work for someone else. Like, I had been putting all of my power outside of myself. And I told my partner, I was like, yeah, I've been looking into like maybe just being a personal assistant. And he was like, what? Marissa, why? And I was like, I don't know. It could be fun. Like, I'm really good at organizing. I'm good at like creating things, blah, blah. He was like, why would you like be someone's puppet like that? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you are so powerful. I could see you getting so annoyed with doing all of the things this powerful person doesn't want to do, and then like throwing them at you. And again, like if you're an assistant, I send you love. You know, I'm not judging your position, because I literally was like, oh, that could be fun. Like, it is fun. And I bet it's really freaking cool for a lot of people. However, he was like, yeah, I don't think that would vibe right with you. You don't like to be told what to do. And I was like, actually, yeah, you're really on point with that. And it just like brought me to this another epiphany. And it's like, instead of looking for someone to give me a job, why don't I give myself a job? Point, period, blank. Like, why don't I just create the job it is that I want to work? And meditations for me are huge. Connecting people to their breath and to their center. That feels so good to me. And so I'm gonna get really clear, and I'm gonna do what I just told y'all to do, and journal that out. It's all been in my head, but getting it on paper is just a different feeling. and get really clear on what it is I want to, how I want my day-to-day in this new job that I'm giving myself to look like, right? Because I get to create that. Like, I want flexibility. I want to be around people and helping people connect and expand and get to know themselves on this deep, deep level. I want to help kids do that. And it was coming to me doing guided meditations in schools, doing it for, social groups, doing it for hospitals even. And all of this just stuff came pouring forward, and I am the opportunity. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to feed this reality that I know exists and the reality in which I can live in. And I'm going to, accept that other realities are also present. When my parents are like, yeah, but that doesn't give you insurance, that doesn't blah, blah, blah. I accept your truth. However, I know that my truth is different. I accept that that may be your reality. However, I also accept that this is mine and that I am more than held because I am feeding my passion. I am following my love. I am following what excites me. And therefore, I'm always taken care of, right? And so get really real. Yeah, what do you want it to look like? And two, when I asked Spirit, message for today, they brought through this trust aspect. So a lot of people's realities are feels like crumbling before them. And the universe, in order to create, causes destruction. Destruction comes first, and creation follows. And so as you are being asked to sit in this falling apart of your current reality, know that that destruction is causing a lot of dust. It's causing a lot of fog, maybe, that is coming in, and you might not be able to see where you are or where you're going. But it's important that you ground with the symbol, ground into your being, and find the way forward by going within. Because if you can't see in front of you, that's okay, because you can always see within you. You can always see at an inward individual level. And that will show you the way forward. And to trust that the more you can ground in self, the more you can ground in the present moment that you can see, this presence then opens the doors, the energetic doors, to then start aligning and bringing the pieces that you need to then build this new reality around you. So really just hold that trust right now. If your reality is kind of crumbling, you're not alone. You are so held. And it's time to go within. It's time to go within. Start looking at your thoughts, start looking at your beliefs, and start creating the reality in which you want to live by. Yeah, really, question everything. Question what you're hearing right now. See if it resonates. And how you can see if it resonates with your being is, how does it feel in your body? How does that belief, how does that thought, how does that pattern, how does that societal structure feel within your body? That'll tell you right away if it feels and is resonating with the reality in which you live in. If it feels expansive, baby, it's for you. If it feels lighthearted, unconditional love, feels like real juicy, then baby, it's for you. If it feels if your body literally, your chest caves in when you think of it, or you just get this murky feeling, this icky feeling, or you get fucking frustrated because that belief is putting you in a box, baby, it's not for you. No. It's not for you. And I have that feeling often. I don't like to be put in a box. I'm a Pisces. I'm a fish. Okay. Aries moon, fire. Leo rising, fire. I'm a lion, okay? I am boiling water. I don't like to be contained. No way, Jose. And it pisses me the fuck off when people try to contain me. It does spark some anger. I moved through some anger last week. Because some stuff just came forward. That Aries full moon, y'all. Sheesh. Golly. Man, was that unfucking comfortable. Uncomfy. Crawling in my skin. Eee. But yeah, I had some anger come forward with that because Aries moon. Aries full moon. Yeah. But I'm so happy when, when stuff comes up like that. And I'm so grateful because you just get to move through it, right? Like, sure, anger can be uncomfortable sometimes, but also if you lean into anger, oh, it's creation. It's this sexual passion. It's this like, oh, I can do anything. Do not hold me to the bounds. Burn. Like energy. Like it is so powerful. So if you can lean into it in that way. I went outside and I took a stick to the ground, man. I was hitting the ground. And like releasing and expressing, like that just brings you closer to your center, to your power, and doing it in a healthy way can really just lead to your expansion, right? Because it's just this release of energy. You move through the emotion and then you're right back in your center. So yeah, how does it feel in your body? That is a really good way to see if this is feeding the reality in which you want to create, or that is possible for yourself, or if it's feeding someone else's. And two, when thoughts come forward, when fears come forward, doubts come forward, or beliefs come forward around how you should be living your life, the easiest way to see if it serves unconditional love is to literally ask, does this come from a place of unconditional love? Yes or no? And then you'll hear it. You'll know immediately. Is this thought serving unconditional love? Is this belief serving unconditional love? And if it's not, then it's most likely not feeding your highest potential, your best reality. The reality in which you can create, that is possible for you. And I want to dive into this story real quick. And this is kind of a big story that just made me start really watching what I was saying and where it was coming from. Because you can develop new beliefs every day. You can, if something resonates with you, then it's most likely because Spirit is bringing that in to help you expand, or to align you with a future self, or to, just really, it's like a puzzle piece. Have you ever gotten that soul click when you're listening to a podcast, or you're listening and watching like a documentary or something, or you're learning something and you get that soul ping and it's like, oh, okay. That is like Spirit basically coming into remembrance within your body, which then will help you to create your own reality. So you can build upon that every day. However, it's really important to always watch what you're just spitting out. Because like we are processing information 24/7. Like that's like the biggest part of being a human, is just to fucking process all this information. And it's important to check in and actually see what your beliefs feel like for you, how they sit with you, and what they mean to you. And so this story is kind of what sparked this within me. I'm going to say about a year ago, I have this friend, and they've been a close friend, sure. And I hadn't talked to them for probably like 4 months or so. And on the other side of that 4 months, we met up, we got dinner, and it was a very interesting time. And the person that I had once called my friend, I don't know where they went. I do not know where they ran off to, but this person that I was eating with was completely different. I knew this person as like a spiritual person, someone that was very into mindfulness, and that's kind of like the common ground that we became friends upon. Crystals, oracle cards, aliens, clean food, like, you know, that is what the basis of our friendship rested upon, I guess. However, when I met up to eat dinner with them, they had become a devout Christian. And I want to preface this by saying I do not judge religions. If you can believe whatever you want, I don't care. You know, like, you can feed whichever narrative that you feel benefits yourself, homie, I'll support you. Like, go off, royalty, go off, sis. Like, you believe what you want. This is not to shame. This is not to downplay religions. I think there are benefits to all things, and there are also negatives to all things. Okay. So, they had become a devout Christian in the span of like 4 months. And I was like, where the fuck is this coming from? Sorry, guys. I'm cussing a lot today. It just feels right, okay? Don't judge me. And I mean, like, this isn't just, started going to church, I'm really enjoying it. No, this is like, Jesus is our savior. Jesus is like, I can't even repeat back what they were saying because I was in so much shock and disbelief, jaw on the floor, like, where did my friend go? Who is this person? And it literally felt like they had been possessed. Like, and I don't say that lightly. I do not talk about that lightly. I do not say that lightly. And do I believe that every fucking religious person is hypnotized and possessed? No. Okay, like, however, this situation was a very unique one, and I could feel, because I am energetically sensitive, because I have worked with entities and attachments, and I know how to clear them, and I know what they feel like it literally felt like there was an entity crawling on this person, feeding off of them, and as they were just spitting back all of this, like, stuff that they had picked up the past 4 months, that entity was like just like trying to pierce through my field. Like, I could feel it. When I got home, I had to do so much clearing. Like, I shit you not. If you have ever talked to someone that has a very strong entity attached to them, you know what this feels like. Like, I had to do a lot of clearing and just like zoning, I guess, of my own energetic field. And I mean, that sat with me for like a few days, that energy. I mean, I was just like, where is this coming from? And I guess they had just been seeing stuff online and like started listening, and like, it just, the whole experience made me realize how often there are people that just want to be told what to believe. They just want to see that this has worked for someone else, and because of that, they're going to take it on without questioning, and that's the important part here. They just are lost. They want help. They want to feel like they are living a happy life. And so they search for other people that are doing that, and they immediately cling on to it. And I don't want to say get brainwashed, but like sometimes for sure, like cults and shit. Okay. But like they just cling to this knowledge, and they cling, and then they just become a robot and spit it back and spit it back and spit it back and spread the word without feeling it in their own body, without having the experience. And who knows, like I have no idea, like this person, they could have done this. I really have no idea. To me, energetically, and yeah, I say this because when someone is talking, I'm very sensitive, and I can feel a lot when someone is talking. I'll just put it there. I could feel that they had just gone to the space of soaking in as much knowledge as possible, and then immediately turning that into a belief. And while, yes, there's also this, like, did you check in with yourself? How did that feel in your body? How are these beliefs shaping your new reality? How, like, there was a lack of questioning what they had been told and what they were spitting back. There was a lack of questioning. It was just like a full-fledged, I believe this now. And whenever I experience something so drastic like that, I always ask myself, okay, what is this reflecting back to me? Like, this was clearly like very dramatic and very like, guys, I can't even, like, I feel like I'm not describing it to what it was. Like, I'm not religious, so I can't even say back what they were saying, but like when I tell you jaw on the floor, like I felt like I was talking to someone who had been in the church their entire life. Like, holy shit, kind of feeling. Yeah, I was like, okay, let's take this to inquiry. Like, what is this reflecting to me? And it was reflecting to me all the times that I had done the exact same thing, however, just in a spiritual lens. And boy, am I so grateful for this reflection. So grateful for this reflection. Because how innocent is it to hear information that makes you feel good, that makes you feel resonant, that makes you feel like you could do anything, and then you take in that information and you just start sharing it with everyone. Like, it made you feel so good, and so you want other people to feel it, and then you just start like, this is how it is, and you can feel this way too. And it's this like high, almost. It's a like clinging, addictive high that you get from, like, you know, getting information and then having that information change your life. And so it really maybe sit back and be like, what are all the things that I'm sharing that I have not checked in myself what they mean? Like, I haven't made my own definition within that spectrum. I have not sat and taken the space to see how it actually works in my reality. And like down to the basic things as like a source, right? If you're in the spiritual community, you probably throw around the word source or universe. You probably throw around the word abundance, free will, manifestation. Like all of these like buzzwords that people just use, but like, what does that mean to you? How does that show up in your reality? And I think it's so important that we actually sit with that first before we then spread it. Because that's how misinformation gets thrown around, right? Like, that's how people get misinformed, because it's just all these words. It's all semantics. But what's the actual energy behind it? And what does that energy feel like to you? And abundance, I'll share that. I really sat with like, what does abundance feel like in my reality? Like, I've talked about abundance a lot, but like, what does that actually show up as? And as I got clear, like, I did see how, okay, cool, like, what I have been sharing with people, I actually do feel, and I'm like, cool, okay, I actually did that check with myself, like, when I first started learning about it and sharing about it. However, I thought it was really funny, source. I have thrown that concept around, and I've known what it means, or I feel like I've known what it means, but I don't think I ever actually took a moment to be like, to feel source. Like, I have felt source, but I never like took those experiences to then create my reality with source. You know what I mean? Like, it was all surface level. But after that experience with this friend, I really sat with a lot of things and was like, okay, if I'm going to be spitting this information, you better believe, like, I better know, like, what it feels like in my own reality. And I invite you to do the same. What beliefs, what stories do you just blindly agree to? You just completely agree with someone in conversation and you're like, yeah, I totally feel that. And then you're taking on that belief. Like, just sit with that for a moment. Where are you blindly feeding and spreading beliefs? And we do that all the time in conversation, right? Like, someone is like, let's see. Like, it's so hard to buy a house right now in this economy. It's so hard to buy a house. It's so hard to be a renter. Like, I could never visualize being like a individual renter right now because things are just so expensive. And you're like sitting and you're like, yeah, totally. I feel you. Like, the housing market is crazy right now. You just attached yourself to that belief. You just fed that belief with your energy. And you know what your ego does now? Your ego's like, oh, I'm going to take that story and I'm going to play with it now. I'm going to play with it now. And now every time that you think about buying a house, I'm going to run that story. And I'm going to be like, wow, yeah, you want to buy a house? Well, it's really hard to buy a house right now. You want to buy a house? Well, you're going to have more money for that. You want to buy a house? Well, you probably couldn't do that by yourself. Whoa. Guys, gals, individuals. That is how the ego works, right? The ego is just running the stories that you have told yourself. The ego isn't this like bad thing from nature. It's simply our personality, our center, and what we have told it to believe. And so watch yourself when you blindly agree to someone in conversation. And also watch yourself when you run stories like that. Because, like, nah, fam, that's not how it has to be. Because everyone's reality is different. So yeah, the housing market may look like it does, but you're just seeing that. That doesn't mean that you live in that reality, right? Realities have glass windows right now, okay? Timelines have glass windows, and we are able to see into other people's realities because of these glass windows. But just because that's happening in someone else's reality does not mean it has to happen inside yours. So sure, in their reality, the housing market might be jack wild, but in your reality, you could see that doesn't even affect you. Whoa. In your reality, it's so easy to find a house that's affordable. In your reality, you have multiple houses that are possible for you. They're in safe neighborhoods. They're surrounded by incredible community. They are easy to buy, and you could totally do it yourself. It's so easy to buy a house right now. It's so easy for me to be a renter by myself. The perfect opportunity always comes to me exactly when I need it. That is my reality. And hold yourself to that. Hold yourself to that if you want that to be your reality. That's getting clear, right? Like, personally for me right now, I know that Spirit is bringing me a place to rent that is through a mutual friend or someone that I know. This rent is going to be so easy to obtain every single month for me. It comes in easy as pie. It feels juicy to live in this place. It feels expansive. I live on my own for the first time ever. That's fucking amazing. I live on someone's land and I get to connect with the earth every single day because I'm close to the earth. You know, all of these things. I have laundry. I have running water. I have a shower. Like, that's really all I need. I have space to just be myself and frolic in a field if I want to. Okay? Like, that's my reality. Sheesh. And it's my reality, too, that I get to live that way by teaching group meditation, by sharing the power of breath. And if a part-time job comes along, to support me in that, then hell yeah, I'm going to take it. Okay? Like, everything gets to be expansive. Everything gets to be expansive for you in your reality if you see it that way, if you decide to believe it that way. And I have seen that. I'm spitting this, and I want you to know that, like, I don't just spit shit anymore, because that is not responsible. It's not responsible to spit things that you have not felt within your being and connected with on a soul level. And so I try to be, people slip up. We are human. But I want you to know that I really do take the intention to sit with, and like every single thing that I've shared on the podcast thus far, I've had like personal experiences with. I've come into that energy, and I don't want to just spit stuff that I haven't experienced myself. Because I think that is radical responsibility, and if you have a platform, that is how to do it in the most safe way, so yeah, there's that story. Let's see. Yeah, it's just what you perceive becomes your reality. You are the only one that gets to create your reality and your dream. So what is it that you want to dream? What dream do you want to live in? Because, right, we are living in a dream. And I say that because I've had the experience of coming into that, kind of knowing that, like, this is all, just a dream, right? That our higher self is having. And we get to create the dreamscape. So how are you going to create? How are you going to play in it? Just ground into yourself first. Ground into what feels good within your body. Ground into what and how you know your reality works. And build from there. Build from there and have fun building. And when someone else's reality creeps in, know that you can accept that as their truth, but you do not have to accept it as yours. Period. Alrighty. I think that is the ending point for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we made sense. I was kind of bopping around all over. I'm in like a very kind of mood today. I apologize for that weird sound that I just made. But yeah. We love when we feel a touch of chaotic. Anyways, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the podcast. Give it a follow. Give it a like. Give it a rating if you so wish. Check out the other YouTube videos. Check out my website for my services. And I hope you have an absolutely beautiful week. What ways are you going to shape your reality this week? What new beliefs are you going to call in, and which beliefs are you going to release? Sit with that. Are you living life for you? And what is feeding your reality? And until then, bye for now.